Following your intuition means trusting that inner voice that guides you, even when the world around you is telling you otherwise. It's that gut feeling that pushes you to take a leap into the unknown when logic and practicality scream at you to stay where it's safe. Intuition is not always easy to explain, but it's often the most honest part of who we are. It's what helps us make decisions that align with our true selves, even when the path isn't clear. Many people ignore their intuition because it often leads to uncomfortable places, away from the security of well-trodden paths. But the most successful and fulfilled individuals are those who have the courage to follow that inner voice, no matter how unconventional it may seem. Steve Jobs himself often spoke about the importance of intuition in his journey. When he dropped out of college, it wasn't because he had a clear plan for what he was going to do next, but because something inside him told him that the structured environment of formal education wasn't where he was meant to be. He didn't have a roadmap, but he trusted that he would find his way. And he did. Intuition doesn't always come with a guarantee. In fact, it often comes with risk. It asks you to step outside of your comfort zone, to walk away from what is expected of you, and to move towards something that might not make sense to anyone else. But that's the beauty of it. It's personal. It's unique. It's yours. When you follow your intuition, you give yourself permission to be authentic. You stop living your life according to other people's expectations and start living according to your own. This can be terrifying because it means taking responsibility for your choices, but it's also incredibly freeing. Intuition often leads to the most remarkable experiences because it comes from a place of genuine curiosity and passion. It's what pushes artists to create masterpieces, entrepreneurs to build empires, and dreamers to achieve the impossible. It's not bound by logic or limited by fear. It's driven by something deeper, something that can't always be explained but can always be felt. Imagine standing at a crossroads with two paths in front of you. One path is safe, well-lit, and familiar. It's the path most people take. The other path is unmarked, dark, and full of uncertainty. Logic would tell you to take the safe path, but something inside you whispers that the unmarked path is where you're meant to go. Following your intuition means listening to that whisper, even when it doesn't make sense. It means trusting that the journey itself will teach you what you need to know. Steve Jobs trusted his intuition when he decided to explore his interests without worrying about how they would fit into his future. That calligraphy class he took after dropping out didn't seem to have any practical value at the time, but it became instrumental in designing the Macintosh. That's the magic of intuition. It often leads you to the right place, even if you don't understand how in the moment. In a world that constantly demands plans, proofs, and guarantees, intuition asks you to believe in yourself. It challenges you to take risks, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that you have what it takes to figure things out along the way. It's not always easy, and it's rarely comfortable, but it's almost always worth it. Following your intuition doesn't mean you won't face setbacks or failures. In fact, you probably will. But those setbacks are often where the most growth happens. They teach you resilience, creativity, and adaptability. Intuition isn't about avoiding failure. It's about finding your way through it. It's about learning from every experience and using that knowledge to move forward. One of the most important things to remember is that your intuition is unique to you. What feels right for you might not make sense to someone else, and that's okay. Your journey is yours alone. Trusting your intuition means being okay with standing out, with being misunderstood, and with taking a path that others might not see as logical. But it also means living a life that feels true to who you are. It means waking up every day excited about what you're doing because you're not just following a script, you're writing your own story. Many people spend their lives ignoring their intuition because they're afraid of what might happen if they follow it. They fear failure, judgment, and the unknown. But the truth is, the most extraordinary things often come from listening to that inner voice. Intuition doesn't promise an easy journey, but it promises a meaningful one. It leads you to places you never imagined and helps you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. It's what gives you the courage to dream big, to take chances, and to create a life that's uniquely yours. Embracing uncertainty is one of the most challenging yet rewarding things a person can do. It means stepping into the unknown without any guarantees, without any clear path, and trusting that somehow things will work out. When Steve Jobs dropped out of college, he didn't have a plan. He didn't know where his journey would take him or what the future held. All he knew was that staying in a system that didn't inspire him wasn't the right choice. He chose uncertainty over comfort, and that decision shaped the rest of his life. Many people avoid uncertainty because it feels uncomfortable. We're taught from a young age to seek stability, to follow predictable paths, and to avoid risks. But the reality is, the greatest opportunities often lie in the unknown. When you embrace uncertainty, you open yourself up to possibilities you never could have imagined. You allow yourself to explore, to learn, and to grow in ways that a safe and predictable path might never allow. It's not easy. There are moments of doubt, fear, and even failure. But those moments are often where the most valuable lessons are learned. Steve Jobs didn't have it easy after dropping out. He struggled financially, often relying on friends for a place to sleep. But in that uncertainty, he found the freedom to explore his interests. He attended classes that sparked his curiosity, not because they were required, but because he wanted to. This freedom to explore without the pressure of a structured path led him to discover passions that would later become critical to his success. Embracing uncertainty means accepting that you won't always have the answers. It means being okay with not knowing what's next. This is scary because as humans we crave control. We want to know that our efforts will pay off, that our plans will succeed, and that our future is secure. But the truth is, life is inherently uncertain. No matter how much we plan, things don't always go the way we expect. When you learn to embrace that uncertainty instead of fearing it, you give yourself the chance to experience life in its fullest form. Steve Jobs once said that you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. This is the essence of embracing uncertainty. You might not see how everything fits together in the moment, but when you look back, you'll realize that every experience, every challenge, and every risk contributed to where you are. Dropping out of college didn't make sense to many people at the time, but looking back, it was clear that it was a crucial step in Jobs' journey. The willingness to step into the unknown is often what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone, to follow a path that feels safe and familiar, but it's in the moments of uncertainty that real growth happens. It's when you're pushed beyond your limits, forced to adapt, and challenged to think differently that you discover your true potential. Steve Jobs' journey is a testament to the power of embracing uncertainty. After leaving college, he co-founded Apple in his parents' garage. There were no guarantees that the company would succeed. In fact, there were many moments when it seemed like it wouldn't. But Jobs believed in his vision, even when the path was unclear. And even when he was forced out of the company he built, he didn't give up. He continued to innovate, to take risks, and to embrace the unknown, ultimately leading to his return to Apple and the creation of some of the most iconic products in history. Embracing uncertainty doesn't mean being reckless. It means being willing to take calculated risks, to trust yourself, and to keep moving forward even when the path isn't clear. It means understanding that failure is a part of the journey, not the end of it. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. The fear of the unknown often holds people back from pursuing their dreams. But what if, instead of fearing uncertainty, you welcomed it? What if you saw it as an adventure, a chance to discover new possibilities? Imagine what you could achieve if you weren't afraid of what might go wrong, but excited about what could go right. Steve Jobs' story is proof that embracing uncertainty can lead to extraordinary outcomes. It's not always easy, and it's rarely comfortable, but it's often where the most incredible journeys begin. When you stop trying to control every aspect of your life and start embracing the unknown, you open yourself up to opportunities you never thought possible. The path might not always be clear, but if you keep moving forward, you'll eventually find your way. Pursuing what excites you is the cornerstone of a fulfilling and successful life. It's about following your passions, exploring your interests, and doing what truly makes you feel alive, regardless of societal expectations or external pressures. Steve Jobs understood this deeply, and it was a philosophy that guided much of his journey. After dropping out of college, he didn't aimlessly drift. He immersed himself in the things that fascinated him. One of those things was calligraphy, an art form that might have seemed irrelevant at the time, but later became a defining feature of the Macintosh computer. This wasn't by accident. It was the result of Jobs' commitment to following his curiosity and engaging deeply with what excited him. When you pursue what excites you, You tap into an inner drive that goes beyond mere obligation. It's not about checking boxes or meeting deadlines. It's about waking up every day eager to dive into what you love. This excitement fuels perseverance, creativity, and resilience. When challenges arise, and they always do, it's your passion that keeps you going. Jobs often spoke about how crucial it is to love what you do because the journey is never easy. If you don't have a genuine passion for your work, it becomes too easy to give up when things get tough. But when you're doing something that excites you, even the hardest days feel worth it. The world is full of people who settle for what's practical or what's expected of them, but the ones who truly make an impact are those who dare to pursue their passions relentlessly. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by following a conventional path or chasing quick success. He built it by pouring his heart into creating products that he believed in, products that excited him. This excitement was contagious. It inspired his team, captivated his customers, and ultimately changed the world. Pursuing what excites you isn't always easy. There will be moments when people question your choices, when doubt creeps in, and when the road ahead seems unclear. But it's in those moments that your passion becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded and pushes you forward. Steve Jobs didn't take that calligraphy class because he thought it would help him in his career. He took it because he was genuinely interested in it. And yet that seemingly unrelated passion became a crucial part of one of the most iconic products in tech history. This is the power of pursuing what excites you. It might not always make sense in the moment, but over time those passions weave together to create something extraordinary. When you follow your excitement, you bring an unmatched level of energy and dedication to your work. You become willing to put in the hours, to take risks, and to overcome obstacles because you genuinely care about what you're doing. This level of commitment is often what separates the good from the great. Passion-driven work has a depth and authenticity that can't be faked. It resonates with people, inspires trust, and drives innovation. Steve Jobs believed that passion was the key to creating exceptional products. He insisted on excellence, not because it was expected, but because he was deeply invested in his work. He wanted every product to be something he was proud of, something that excited him. This pursuit of passion is what made Apple stand out in an industry often driven by profit margins and market trends. Jobs wasn't interested in making the cheapest or the most practical products. He was interested in making the best products, the products that he himself would love to use. Pursuing what excites you also means being open to exploration and experimentation. It means giving yourself permission to try new things, to fail, and to learn along the way. Steve Jobs didn't have everything figured out when he started, but he was curious and willing to explore. This openness led him to discover interests and ideas that he might never have encountered if he had stuck to a rigid plan. The journey of pursuing your passion is often unpredictable, but it's also incredibly rewarding. It leads to discoveries, connections, and opportunities that you might never have found otherwise. Steve Jobs' story is a testament to this. His passion for design, technology, and innovation wasn't something he stumbled upon by chance. It was something he actively pursued, nurtured, and refined over time. And that passion became the driving force behind some of the most groundbreaking innovations of our time. Pursuing what excites you is not a luxury, it's a necessity for anyone who wants to live a meaningful and impactful life. It's what gives your work purpose and your journey direction. When you choose to follow your passions, you choose a path that is uniquely yours. It may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Passion is what turns dreams into reality, and when you pursue what excites you, you give yourself the best chance of creating something truly remarkable. Connecting the dots backward means understanding that life's experiences often don't make sense in the moment, but when you look back, you realize how each moment, each choice, and each challenge played a crucial role in shaping your journey. Steve Jobs famously highlighted this concept in his Stanford commencement speech, where he shared that you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. This idea resonates deeply because it acknowledges the uncertainty and unpredictability of life while offering reassurance that every experience has value. When Jobs dropped out of college, he didn't know where that decision would lead him. At the time, it might have seemed like a setback, a deviation from the traditional path. But when he looked back, he could see how that choice allowed him to explore his interests, leading him to the calligraphy class that would later influence the typography of the Macintosh. At the moment, taking that class didn't seem like a strategic move for a future tech entrepreneur, but looking back, it was clear that it was a critical piece of the puzzle. This is the essence of connecting the dots backward. It's the realization that every step you take, even the ones that feel uncertain or insignificant, contributes to your larger story. Life rarely unfolds in a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. Often we want immediate clarity and assurance that our choices will lead to success. But the truth is, we often don't see the significance of our choices until much later. This is why trusting the process is so important. When you pursue what excites you, take risks, and follow your intuition, you might not see immediate results, but you're laying the foundation for something greater. Steve Jobs' journey is a perfect example of this. After being forced out of Apple, the company he co-founded, Jobs could have seen that moment as a failure. But looking back, he recognized that it was one of the most valuable periods of his life. It gave him the freedom to start next, which led to innovations that Apple would later adopt when they acquired the company. It also allowed him to invest in Pixar, transforming it into one of the most successful animation studios in the world. None of these things would have happened if Jobs had stayed on the traditional path. But at the time, he couldn't have known that. He could only see it when he looked back. This is why it's so important to keep moving forward, even when the path isn't clear. Every experience, every challenge, and every success adds to your story in ways you might not understand right now. There will be moments when you question your choices, when you wonder if you're on the right path. But when you look back, you'll see how each dot connected to the next, leading you to where you are meant to be. Jobs' story teaches us that the journey is just as important as the destination. It's easy to get caught up in the desire for immediate results, but the most meaningful achievements often come from a series of seemingly unrelated experiences that only make sense in hindsight. This perspective encourages us to embrace every part of our journey, even the difficult moments. Failures, setbacks, and challenges are often the dots that connect us to our greatest successes. When you face obstacles, it's easy to feel discouraged, but if you trust that each experience is contributing to your growth, you'll be more resilient and open to new opportunities. Jobs didn't let setbacks define him. He used them as stepping stones. And when he looked back, he could see how every challenge had a purpose. Connecting the dots backward also reminds us to stay curious and open-minded. Sometimes the things that seem irrelevant in the moment become the most important pieces of our story. Jobs didn't take that calligraphy class because he had a grand plan. He took it because he was curious. That curiosity led to innovation that set Apple apart. This is a powerful reminder that not everything has to make sense right away. It's okay to explore, to try new things, and to take paths that don't have a clear outcome. When you look back, you'll see how each experience contributed to your journey. Life is full of unexpected connections. The people you meet, the experiences you have, and the choices you make all play a role in shaping your future. Steve Jobs' story shows us that even when the path isn't clear, every step matters. Trust that the dots will connect and keep moving forward. One day, when you look back, you'll see how everything came together to create the story of your life. Trusting the process means believing that every experience, challenge, and decision will ultimately lead you to where you are meant to be, even when the path is unclear. Steve Jobs embodied this philosophy throughout his life. He understood that success doesn't come overnight and that the journey is often unpredictable. When he dropped out of college, he didn't have a clear plan for his future, but he trusted that his curiosity and passion would guide him. This trust allowed him to explore his interests freely, leading to experiences that shaped his future in ways he couldn't have imagined at the time. Trusting the process is about having faith in yourself and your journey, even when things don't go as planned. It's easy to feel discouraged when faced with setbacks, but those moments often serve as important lessons that contribute to your growth. Steve Jobs faced numerous challenges throughout his career, from being ousted from Apple to dealing with intense competition and personal struggles. Yet he never gave up. He trusted that every experience, no matter how difficult, was part of his journey. This trust gave him the resilience to keep moving forward, even when the future seemed uncertain. One of the most challenging aspects of trusting the process is dealing with failure. Failure can be disheartening, but it is often a necessary part of growth. Steve Jobs' story is a testament to this. When he was forced out of Apple, it could have marked the end of his career. Instead, he used that time to start Next and invest in Pixar. These ventures not only contributed to his personal growth, but also played a significant role in his return to Apple and its subsequent success. Looking back, Jobs often credited those challenging times for teaching him invaluable lessons and giving him a fresh perspective. This is what trusting the process is all about, believing that every experience has a purpose, even if it's not immediately apparent. Trusting the process also means being patient. In a world where instant gratification is often expected, it can be difficult to remain patient when results aren't immediate. However, true success often takes time. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple into a tech giant overnight. It took years of hard work, innovation, and perseverance. There were moments of doubt and setbacks, but Jobs trusted that his efforts would pay off. This patience allowed him to stay focused on his vision, even when success seemed far away. It's a reminder that greatness doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of consistent effort, resilience, and trust in the journey. Another important aspect of trusting the process is being open to change and adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. Steve Jobs understood this better than most. His journey was filled with unexpected twists and turns, but he embraced each one. When he left Apple, he didn't cling to the past. Instead, he saw it as an opportunity to explore new ventures. This adaptability allowed him to grow and ultimately return to Apple stronger than ever. Trusting the process means being flexible and open to new opportunities, even when they come in unexpected forms. It's about understanding that sometimes the detours are where the most valuable lessons are learned. Trusting the process also requires self-belief. Steve Jobs believed in his vision, even when others doubted him. This belief gave him the confidence to take risks, innovate, and pursue his dreams relentlessly. When you trust yourself, you become more resilient in the face of challenges. Self-belief fuels perseverance, and perseverance is essential for success. Jobs' unwavering belief in his ideas and abilities played a crucial role in his success. He trusted that his hard work and passion would lead to something meaningful, and it did. Trusting the process also means focusing on the present moment. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, but true growth happens when you stay present and give your best to what you're doing right now. Steve Jobs often spoke about the importance of being fully invested in the present. Whether he was designing a product, leading a team, or delivering a speech, he gave his full attention to the task at hand. This focus not only enhanced the quality of his work, but also helped him navigate the uncertainties of his journey. When you trust the process, you understand that each moment is an opportunity to learn, grow, and move closer to your goals. Trusting the process is not about passively waiting for things to happen. It's about actively working towards your goals while believing that your efforts will pay off. Steve Jobs worked tirelessly to bring his vision to life. He faced numerous challenges, but his trust in the process kept him going. This trust allowed him to take risks, embrace failures, and continuously innovate. It's a reminder that success is often the result of consistent effort and unwavering belief in the journey. Jobs' story teaches us that while the path to success is rarely straightforward, trusting the process can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Living authentically means staying true to who you are, your values, and your vision, even when the world around you tries to push you in a different direction. Steve Jobs embodied this principle throughout his life and career. He believed deeply in the importance of authenticity and often spoke about the significance of living a life that is true to oneself. Jobs didn't conform to societal norms or expectations. He carved his own path and followed his own instincts. This commitment to authenticity was evident in everything he did, from the products he created to the way he led his company. He wasn't interested in following trends or doing what was popular. He was interested in creating something meaningful, something that reflected his unique vision. Living authentically requires courage. It means making choices that align with your true self, even when those choices are difficult or unpopular. Jobs faced numerous challenges throughout his journey, but he never compromised on his values or vision. When he dropped out of college, it wasn't because he wanted to take the easy way out. It was because he knew that staying in an environment that didn't inspire him would prevent him from pursuing his true passions. This decision was risky, but it was authentic to who he was. Jobs' authenticity was also evident in the way he approached innovation. He believed that technology should be beautiful, intuitive, and user-friendly. This belief wasn't driven by market research or external pressures. He was driven by his own passion for design and his desire to create products that he himself would love to use. He wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo or take risks, even when others doubted him. This unwavering commitment to his vision set Apple apart and made it one of the most successful companies in the world. Living authentically also means embracing your uniqueness. Jobs often spoke about the importance of thinking differently and celebrating individuality. He believed that the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. This mindset encouraged him to take bold risks and pursue ideas that others might have dismissed. It also inspired countless individuals to embrace their own uniqueness and pursue their own passions. Jobs understood that authenticity is what drives true innovation. When you stay true to yourself, you bring a unique perspective to everything you do. You're not confined by conventional thinking or external expectations, and this allows you to see possibilities that others might overlook. Jobs' journey was a testament to the power of authenticity. From the early days of Apple to the creation of iconic products like the iPhone, every step of his journey was guided by his commitment to staying true to his vision. Even when faced with setbacks such as being forced out of Apple, he remained authentic to who he was. Instead of trying to fit into someone else's mold, he continued to pursue his passions and create groundbreaking innovations. Living authentically also means being honest with yourself about what truly matters to you. Jobs often spoke about the importance of doing work that you love because life is too short to settle for anything less. He believed that if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it's hard to create something truly meaningful. This belief drove him to pour his heart into his work and to encourage others to do the same. Jobs' authenticity was not just about his work, it was also about how he lived his life. He understood that time is limited and that it's important to make the most of every moment. This awareness fueled his determination to live a life that was true to his values and vision. He often reminded people that their time is finite and that the only way to make the most of it is to live authentically. Jobs' story is a powerful reminder that living authentically is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It requires courage, resilience, and a deep understanding of who you are and what you stand for. It means making choices that align with your true self, even when those choices are difficult. But it also means experiencing the fulfillment that comes from knowing that you are living a life that is true to who you are. Jobs' legacy is a testament to the power of authenticity. His journey shows us that when you stay true to yourself, you can achieve extraordinary things. You can create, innovate, and inspire in ways that you never thought possible, and most importantly, you can live a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. Living authentically means embracing your uniqueness, staying true to your values, and having the courage to follow your own path. It means creating your own definition of success and pursuing it relentlessly. Jobs' story encourages us all to embrace our authenticity, to pursue our passions, and to live a life that reflects who we truly are.